The Orchid Fusion notifications now include system alerts and motion alerts. We're going to take this opportunity to provide a detailed look at system alerts. The system alerts help to make sure that someone in your organization is alerted when a potential problem is detected. With early detection and action, you are better protected against video loss. IP Configure recommends that you use system alerts, so let's see how it's done. The first thing you need to do is identify a simple mail transfer protocol, or SMTP server, that you can use. This server is the device that will actually send the email alerts. If you don't currently have access to an SMTP server, talk to your IT department for guidance and support. They may be able to connect you to an existing SMTP server or configure a new one. Once you have an SMTP server, it's time to set things up in Orchid Fusion. Go to the System menu and select Notifications. Then select SMTP Servers. Click the Add SMTP Server button. Enter a unique name for the SMTP server. Then you'll need to enter the SMTP server address, which may include a colon and the port number at the end. If you need to add transport layer security, mark this checkbox. But keep in mind that the server you're adding must support a secure connection for this to work. Now enter your user credentials. If your IT department set this up for you, they can provide you with all of this info. If you want to double check the server, click the Send Test Email button and send an email to yourself. Then check your email to make sure it worked. When you're done with SMTP settings, click the Save button. Okay, now let's move on to configuring the actual system alert. You can really set these up any way you want. As an example, you can group multiple trigger events and multiple actions into a single system alert, as long as you intend to send all of the notifications to the same person or group. We'll run through all of the basics so you can see how it's done. Click the Add System Alert button. Enter a name and a description for this alert, then mark the enabled checkbox if you want to start using it. Next are the system alert triggers. If you scroll down through this section, you'll see that the system already has 3 triggers ready to go: camera unreachable, server unreachable, and server error. If you want to use all of these, that's great. Just take a look at each one and verify the settings. Let's start back at the top. To change the trigger event type, click on the Trigger Event drop-down list and select a new option. We're going to stick with the camera unreachable trigger. So first, decide how long the camera must be unreachable before the system sends an email alert. Enter this time in the first minutes field. Next, decide how long the camera must be back online before the system will recognize another camera unreachable event. Enter this time in the second minutes field. One quick exception to note here: cameras that become unreachable because the server has become unreachable will not send alerts. A server unreachable trigger event would explain the loss of those cameras. Now you need to select which cameras you want to monitor with this alert. If you want to monitor all or almost all of the cameras associated with this system, click the Any Camera checkbox. If there are any cameras that you want to exclude from this notification, click in the search field and enter a search term. We've got some search tools that may help. Click on the Search Options list to find matching servers, cameras, or both. Now select a viewing option. You can try the card view, which also gives you the ability to view camera thumbnails. Or select the table view. With the table view, you may change the sort order by clicking the arrows next to the column headers. Mark the checkboxes to select all servers, all cameras, specific servers, or specific cameras. If you want to eliminate this trigger, click the Remove button. When you're done with the settings for this trigger, click the Done button to save it. Scroll down to the next trigger event that the system has provided. If you don't want to configure this as a server unreachable event, just select a different trigger from the list. We'll stick with the server unreachable. First, decide how long the server must be unreachable before the system sends an email alert. Enter this time in the first minutes field. Next, decide how long the server must be back online before the system will recognize another server unreachable event. Enter this time in the next minutes field. Okay, now you need to select which servers you want to monitor with this alert. If you want to monitor all or almost all of the Orchid servers associated with this Fusion system, click the Any Server checkbox. If there are any servers that you want to exclude from this notification, click in the search field. Simply click on any server name to add it to your exclusion list. If you prefer to select individual servers, unmark the Any Server checkbox. Then click in the search field to select those servers by server name. When you're done with settings for this trigger event, click the Done button to save it. Scroll down to the next trigger event that the system has provided, which happens to be a server error event. If you don't want to configure this as a server error trigger event, just select a different trigger type from the list. We'll stick with the server error. The first thing you need to know about the server error is that there are many things that can cause a server error to occur, but these are generally broken into three categories. A server restarts, a server enters a degraded state, or a server stops writing video files. In all of these cases, the Orchid server is not saving video files for some period of time. The alerts are intended to make this time period as short as possible, so the event results in the least amount of video loss. And by the way, the server degraded state events can only be detected on Orchid servers running version 2.4 or greater. Okay, first decide how much time you want to add as a buffer between server error alerts. Enter this time in the minutes field. Even if multiple server error trigger events occur, the system will not send alerts more frequently than this setting allows. Now you need to select which servers you want to monitor with this alert. You'll do this just like you did with the server unreachable alert. So you can select all or some of the servers. When you're done with the settings for this trigger event, click the Done button to save it. Now you've come to the end of the triggers that the system sets up for you. If you want to add another trigger, click the Add Another Trigger button. For our example, we're going to add one more. So we'll select an I/O error trigger from the list. An I/O error will occur if the system detects that video files for a selected server cannot be written to the disk fast enough to complete the write. First, decide how much time you want to add as a buffer between I/O error alerts. Enter this time in the Minutes field. Even if multiple I/O error trigger events occur, the system will not send alerts more frequently than this setting allows. Now you need to select which servers you want to monitor with this alert. You'll do this just like you did with the server error alert. When you're done with settings for this trigger event, click the Done button to save it. If you want to add another trigger, click the Add Another Trigger button. Since we've covered each of the triggers, we're moving on to actions. First, we need to select the trigger action type. We can select either immediate email or daily email digest from the drop-down list. With an immediate email, a notification will be sent as soon as a valid trigger event occurs. All of the selected recipients will know right away that there is a problem that may need attention. So this is a great choice for people that are responsible for maintaining servers, cameras, and networks. With a daily email digest, a system alert will be sent once per day that summarizes all of the trigger events related to this alert that occurred within the previous 24-hour period. Here's the best part. A daily email digest will be sent each day even if no trigger events occur. This offers reassurance that the system is working. IPConfigure recommends the use of the daily email digest to cover all of the notification triggers. If you select the daily email digest, a time field will appear. Enter the time that you want the system to send the email alert. Notice that the system is using Eastern Daylight Time. Next, we need to select recipients for the email alert. Take some time to consider who your best recipients are for immediate alerts versus daily digests. Click in the User field to select any Fusion user as a recipient. Click in the Permission Groups field to select entire groups as recipients. Click in the Emails field to send the email alert to someone outside of the Fusion system. The last setting for the action is to select the SMTP server that will be used to send the email alert. If you have only configured one, the SMTP server will already be selected for you. If you have more than one, select the server from the drop-down list. If you want to include a custom return email address with the alert, clear the SMTP from address field and then enter a custom address. When you're done with settings for this trigger action, click the Done button to save it. If you want to add another trigger action, click the Add Another Action button. When you're done with all of these settings, click the Save System Alert button. The new system alert will appear in the list. Now, if you decide you want to edit or remove one of the system alerts, just click on it to expand it, then select the Edit button or the Delete button. There are so many ways to combine trigger events, trigger actions, and recipients that we can't say which is best for your organization. What we can say is that if you take the time to configure system alerts and respond quickly when alerted, you will be better protected against video loss. Thanks for watching.